touching fingertips, looking in your eyes.
And it looked pretty cute until I turned around. I am back with another video here for you. I've got some quick tips and they have to do with this bubble skirt trend. We're going to be talking a little bit about how you can do the bubble skirt trend without spending a dime. And I've got no-sew tips for you if you're not a seamstress, and I've got some basic ones if you're a beginner. Let's back up a little bit. I'm not sure if you noticed, but the bubble skirt trend was something that already happened twice. It had a very small play about 2 years ago, and then last summer and spring on the tail end, I saw the bubble skirt trend coming back. Let's start off with my thoughts on the bubble skirt trend. Honestly, I didn't love it when it came out. I looked at it, saw it going around on Pinterest. I don't care what body type it's on. I don't care if it's on the highest of high fashion model. It didn't look great to me. And I think I know why that is. Do I have any bubble skirt things in my wardrobe? Yes, I do. I decided to try it out to see if I could make it work for me and what exactly I need to make it so it's something that I like. And so I don't have very much of it, but I have enough in order to show you some good examples today. So I have 3 tips for you. 2 of them are going to be a no-sew hack, and one of them will be something that you can do if you know how to basic stitch. Like, you don't even need a sewing machine for this. We're talking really easy. You can get it done before it's a trend that's totally gone. And also just keep in mind, if this trend has already passed by the time you're watching this video, it's likely to come back around again next summer or spring. The first one is a dress. It's a vintage dress. And the second one is an actual skirt for the bubble skirt trend. So I'm going to show you what I did with these pieces, and hopefully you get little takeaways for something you can do, add in your wardrobe for yourself. Quick question for you. What is a harmony? Is 2 people doing something that is not the same, and they're coming together and they're using their differences
to create something beautiful.
Yeah, so if you want to hear more harmonies, you can go check out my sister channel, Somber Mercy, where there's quite a few of them on there with myself as well as some other artists I have collaborated with. So first we're going to start off with a little bit of a story time as to why I think the bubble skirt trend doesn't appeal to a lot of people. What is wrong with the fit? What is going on? Like, why is it not a more trendy thing? And my first complaint would actually be it's where it's sitting on the body. When I was on Pinterest and I was looking at a lot of these bubble skirt trends, the low waist trend was also going on. The micro mini skirt trend was going on. I like low waist and micro mini skirts. I think it's possible to do it. Do I think that people's booties are hanging out if they turned around on half these Pinterest posts? Yes, I do. Or they have to have built-in shorts, because I don't understand. How is it people want to simultaneously have huge butts and also fit it all under a micro mini skirt? Sorry, you either have no butt or your butt is hanging out. To pull off a micro mini bubble skirt, it just actually looks strange, and it adds too much width to the wrong part of the body. It doesn't even add it to like the hip area in the correct area. It adds it just below the hip area. So I think that's what makes it an unappealing trend for a lot of people, because it's hard to pull off. You have to have a very specific body type and a very specific torso length and shape for it to work. Keep that in mind if you're wanting to try it out. I know for me, I tend to like to wear things more high-waisted, and that clued me in on what I might need to do to make this work. What I discovered was taking this bubble skirt that they have made to sit on the hips and pulling it up to my waist actually really worked. And it helps because this year's trending bubble skirts are a little bit lower in the back. That also helps. So if you're going and you're looking for a bubble skirt to purchase that's already like that, make sure it's a little bit lower in the back. That seems to help a lot with having that mini skirt look up front without having everything hanging out in the back. Yeah, if the bubble skirt sits in the wrong place, honestly, it gives Michelin Man. Like, that's the thing that's happening. No one wants to look like the Michelin Man, unless maybe you're trying to cosplay as him. Then by all means, you do you. I'm going to go ahead and show you in my wardrobe what I have that I have done the bubble skirt on. I did this in my sewing club, and I love how it came out. It was really easy. And I chose to sew it by hand with a basting stitch. But you can do this with safety pins and get the same kind of look. The reason why I chose to use a basting stitch and do it this way was because This is a vintage item, and I'm starting to form some thoughts around vintage items. Storytime, my mom actually had given me a really cute vintage thrifted blouse from the 70s. It had a psychedelic print all over it. It was tan with this black, like butterflies and psychedelic stuff going on. And she got it for me because it reminded me a lot of a manga I was reading at the time called Triple X Holic or XXX Holic. And I did not appreciate that blouse. I tried to cut it into something that I thought would be more trendy for 2009. My mistake. I don't even remember what it really looks like other than it had a pointy collar and it was cool. And I wish I hadn't cut into it. I don't actually even know what happened to it anymore. I think I failed at turning it into anything that I would have liked and probably scrapped it. That being said, I'm a little more hesitant about cutting into vintage things because I'm learning that I change over the years. My taste, my preferences change, and I might want to reinvent a piece, or I might be into a different length or cut or something like that later. So with this alteration, especially with the bubble skirt, you can do that. This is where midi skirts can shine if they're the correct length, or a shorter maxi skirt. So as you can see, the vintage dress has a really cute silhouette, a really cute fit. I'm not even really a fan of drop waist dresses, but this one in particular, this vintage dress, it just worked to be able to do drop waist. I did also add a little bit of boning into the front because I wanted it to just keep its shape. It not like it really needed it too much, but it helps a little bit with these waist ties when I'm pulling them back to tie in the back. I also really love that this dress had pockets. Oh my gosh. And I was able to keep the pockets even though I did fold the skirt up. They didn't interfere at all. So the second item here is this skirt from Windsor. It is a size small, and I was shocked because when I put it on, it sat on my hips. So I realized this must be how they designed it. It must be intentional, unless I'm an extra small. But I don't think so, because this fit was pretty snug. I like it much better high-waisted, and luckily my butt does not hang out. Somehow it sits a little bit lower in the back than in the front. What I'm going to do, and you can hand stitch this, or you can pin this, or you can use a sewing machine, or you can use these really cool clips I'll show you. And basically, you're just going to bring the waist up. I'm going to follow where the original darts are in the back here, and I'm going to basically sew new darts in the back. That way I can make it high-waisted. That way you can see the difference about how much cuter this looks if you are someone that also tends to wear things on your waist instead of at your hips. In general, if you're going to recreate the bubble skirt look, you can do it with safety pins as well. When I showed you on the vintage dress that I hand-stitched it in there, you can just replace hand stitching that with a bunch of really small safety pins. It's going to take about the same amount of time as sewing it, but if you don't know how to sew, easy hack, easy fix. The only thing I would say is to remember to take them out if you're washing the item, or make sure you get rust-proof safety pins. I have heard that brass safety pins are rust-proof. Not 100% sure if that's true. This third technique involves a large t-shirt and hair ties. We're going to see if it works because this is actually something that was recommended on the internet, and I'm not actually sure if it works to create the bubble skirt look. Either way, even if it does, you're going to get a different waistband than either one of these that I just showed you. So keep that in mind if you have a preference about how you like your waistband. So I'm going to see if it works. We're going to test it out in this video. You're going to find out when I find out. For the Windsor skirt, as you can see, this no-sew technique requires basically these cute little bow clasp pins. I got them on Amazon. I got a pretty big pack of them. It was because I knew I would be using them on things I don't want to be sewing. I have to cinch a lot of things in, and this was really helpful. So if you think these are cute, you can check them out on Amazon. I will link to those below so you can get some for yourself. This second technique here is for the seamstresses. I am personally not wanting to use the clips for a skirt like this because I will never wear it on my hips. I know that about myself. It does not look good on my silhouette. I think it looks strange and makes my legs look stubby. So I'm going to do a permanent sewing on this, which basically just means I'm taking the darts in on the inside, which requires me to flip the skirt inside out and pin it. Then I'll be able to just easily sew it. With some of my other skirts and some of my other things, sometimes what I'll do is actually open up the inside and do the darts on both the inside and the outside layer For this skirt in particular, I don't think it's going to be a problem over top of both layers. As long as I catch the top layer when I'm sewing it, that's all that really matters. So I'm doing a lazy girl's sewing technique here because why not? So after you finish pinning it up in the back, you're going to take it into your sewing machine, and it's pretty simple. You just sew these 2 darts in the back. I like to use a size 2.5 to 3.5 stitch. I feel that works best. Sew through both layers just fine. It looks great on the front and the back. So then I just added a finishing stitch along the top because I don't really like it when my darts sit kind of funny in the back. Now I am putting it on so you can see the difference with the fit. I love it so much better, and my booty is not hanging out in the back, as you can see. So that's just a little technique for you seamstresses that know how to sew. All right, on to this third mystery technique that was recommended by the internet, so I should have been wary. I tried with a regular t-shirt at first and it was not working, so I moved to this other t-shirt that I had that had puff sleeves and it had like an elastic neck collar, and it worked a little bit better, but for the most part I didn't know how to cinch the top part until I grabbed this belt, and it was kind of working at first. It seemed to be kind of tricky to finagle, but eventually I got it, and it looked pretty cute until I turned around and it was not working out so well in the back, so I just kept fiddling with it, and eventually I got it to not have my booty hanging out, but as you can see, it looks kind of lumpy and strange, and I don't really recommend this weird technique of taking a t-shirt and turning it upside down to try to put it on. Alright, so that is my 3 techniques that I recommend for the bubble skirt trend. Have you tried any of these yourself? I would love to hear what you think about the bubble skirt trend. Drop me a comment down below and I will see you in the next video.